Hi, and welcome to Conductor, where we are two sisters on a mission to amplify women's voices on the podium.
Join us as we interview leaders in the field of choral music, share resources, and build a community for current and future teacher conductors, all while exploring the gender divide. I'm Kyra Starr.
And I'm McKenna Stenson, and we are Conductor. Well, good morning, Conductor listeners. We are so excited you're tuning in today. We have an absolutely exceptional guest on the podcast today, and I'm going to turn it over to Kyra to welcome our guest.
Yes, welcome. Today we have the incredible Zimfira Poloz joining us on the podcast. Thank you so much for being here, Zimfira.
Thank you very much for this invitation. I love your program and I listen all these fantastic interviews. Congratulations to both of you. Thank you for sharing stories.
Well, we're so excited to have you with us today and for our guests to get to know you. Before we dive into our questions, we're just going to read a little bit of Zimfira's incredible background. Zimfira Poloz is an award-winning conductor, educator, and internationally recognized adjudicator and clinician. Her distinguished career reflects a lifelong dedication to choral excellence, artistic development, and music education on a global scale. Zimfira serves as professor of vocal pedagogy for choirs at the University of Toronto's Faculty of Music and is the artistic director of the world-renowned Toronto Children's Chorus. We're excited to talk about both of those things more. She plays an active role in the international choral community as a Canadian representative on the Interculture World Choral Council, a board member on the World Alliance of Children's Choirs, joined International Choral Competition Artistic Council of Canada, and a curator-editor for Cyprus Choral Music. For 2 decades, Zimfira served as the artistic director of the award-winning Hamilton Children's Choir, HCC. Simultaneously, she led the Young Voices Toronto for 15 years, enhancing the artistic vision of both ensembles and creating new opportunities for young singers to shine on national and international stages.
Zimfira's journey began in Kazakhstan, where she founded and directed the nation's first choir school number 1, in 1983. Her children's choir, Koktem, toured internationally with performances in Kazakhstan, Russia, Hungary, Austria, Germany, France, Switzerland, and the Netherlands. Driven by a mission to elevate choral singing into an art form that transcends boundaries, Zimfira remains committed to nurturing the next generation of musicians. With unwavering dedication to choral music education, she strives to foster artistic excellence, vocal integrity, and a sense of empowerment in singers of all ages, leaving a lasting impact on the international choral community. Welcome, Zimfira!
Well, thank you so much.
Can you just tell us a bit about your upbringing and how you came to choral music specifically?
It is absolutely incredible story for my childhood. I was labeled one of the children who really don't match pitch and can be part of the choir and music school. I auditioned for several times, 3 times, and I was successful only on eventually for the regular music school, not for the school, which was in Almaty in Kazakhstan for gifted children. And I was so broken up because I thought like I can sing, and I was singing at home all the time. Was always also had a little piano. I was able to find tunes without like just by ear. So, and I remember exactly my feeling, like I was so just overwhelmed by this lady who sang example of the song what I have to repeat. And I thought, no way I can do this. Like she's singing so beautifully and such a big voice and sound. So I was just like monotone on the bottom somewhere. So, and my really passion for kids to find their voice, to help them. And I was singing in the children's choir for 11 years. And our conductor inspired me. Around age 10, I thought, I want to be her. I want to do this. I was loved so much. It's not, it's just part of me, who you are. And I think your voice, every child has a voice and unique voice. And to find and help every child to be confident with their ability and voice and have passion to share it and have no fear. I think it's very important task I have.
Oh, Zimfira, first of all, what an incredible journey to go from the student who was essentially labeled as not musical to now being a professional musician in a different country where you are thriving. And what a story of resilience to remind us all that even if we don't get it the first time, we should try again. And it's okay. And everybody fails. And sometimes that failure is what leads us to a better path or a different opportunity at a better time. So I also think everything that you just said about children needing to find their voice and you feeling like that's your life's calling because of your experiences is so beautiful. And what a reminder to our friends and colleagues who work with young and developing musicians to never label our children, but to help them to know that they have a place in choir and be accepting and empowering to all of them. I just thank you for sharing all of that. So you spoke a little bit about these early years and singing in the children's choir, eventually getting into a school where you were able to have more musical experiences, but not the gifted school. So was there a specific event outside of the children's choir experience, maybe later on in high school or in college even, that made you decide that choral music was going to be your career?
Yes, like it's performing with a choir. We met so many artists, and it was such an inspiration for us as a young children in a children's choir. And children's choir actually was part of the music school, which is quite intense in a system where I grown up. Yes, we have this art schools for gifted children, but there is regular music school, which is quite intense because it's 14, 12 hours a week. And it is you have to be grade 1 to start, and you will have piano twice a week, solfege, theory classes, and everything. It's so occupied schedule as a child, you will be not able to do any other activities because that's whole focus on music or sport, whatever a child decided to do. And it was 7-year program with exams and like final exams, and then you get a diploma which allowed you to continue your education in music college. So as age grade 8, you allowed to go to music college for choral conducting department. That's what I did. So, and I was in a music college inspired by all these fantastic teachers and the level and expectations, high expectations for us as a students. You have to study voice as a major instrument, also piano, and you have to be able to play your scores. You will play 4 parts of your score and sing one of the parts at the same time, or they will stop you in the middle of the score and say, okay, now sing the vertical from bottom to top, the chord. So you have to know the score horizontally and vertically. So that was 4 years mandatory program. So it's 7 years music school, 4 years music college, and then you can go to university after that, which is another 5 years mandatory program. You can choose subjects. It's like curriculum which through the Soviet Union Republic is quite similar. And the inspiration of this high level artistry and being surrounded by these amazing conductors, teachers, inspired me like so much to go to learn, to have this hunger to learn. I go with my notebook to all seminars, and I love to learn and find new ways. Even from students, you learn some new way of thinking. You have to update yourself all the time and have on the wave of world today after COVID, like we have to all adjust and also like find new approach and still have aiming for this fantastic level of really real music making.
This is really so insightful to hear, Zimfira, and exciting to hear about your ability to strive for excellence in a very high pressure and high intense situation. And I think that's also a reminder for us as educators that when you set high expectations and put in the scaffolding to support students to get there, they can reach incredible goals. I think sometimes it's easy to underestimate skills. And when you put those high expectations, but you know how to help people reach them, you can create just an exceptional journey and opportunity for growth, opportunity to see amazing things that your peers are doing and learn from them. And so you've had this experience and you've gone through school. And then now, as we're talking with you, you are currently in Toronto. Can you talk a little bit about how you went from Kazakhstan to Canada?
Yes, it's you all know that Soviet Union collapsed in 90s, so that was very uncertain times for us. And I had daughter, grade 7, and my husband and my family. We decided that we will emigrate and officially emigrate to from Soviet Union. At that time, was possible only to 2 countries, Canada and. We just decided to try, and we all 3 didn't speak English and came to the country. It was very challenging times, and you have to find your way. And if you can't communicate with people, of course, there is no job. So you have to figure it out how to make all this happen. So at age 33, I, being quite accomplished. In my career back home, I went and found music school in Mississauga, which is like area side by side with Toronto. There was private school, and I was teaching piano lessons for 3 years because it's required not such a fluent, I will say, English. It was okay to try. And I started Kindernote program in that school, and I learned all the songs like teddy bear, turn around, and all the movements. And that's how I started. All spiral of education. I thought it's very important to go from a very beginning, from Kindernote level for me as educator, and get the culture, understand how these kids growing up and what they love, what they're watching and listening. And I have to know all these songs.
And now, a quick word from our sponsors.
Conductor, 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 conductor.
Hi, I'm Jocelyn Hagan, composer and founder of Compose Like a Girl, a choral series dedicated to empowering composers who identify as women through mentorship, publication, and promotion. With over 30 pieces in the series, with many different voicings, we're showcasing fresh, compelling music like Womankind by Emily Drum, The Infinity of Space by Ritika Bhattacharjee, and When I Become an Old Woman by Sherry Blevins. Explore the catalog at jocelynhagan.com/composelikeagirl and graphitepublishing.com.
And we're back. Well, thank you for sharing about that journey and how brave and how powerful to hear your story. And we just appreciate you sharing with our listeners. I know there are many people out there that can connect to the story of immigrating to a new country, starting over. And especially at 33, you've already gone through such formative music education. You've had over a decade, maybe a decade and a half already of a career, and how incredible to see you restart and to just dive in. And you have just made such an incredible impact, not only in Canada, but globally for children singing throughout the world. I've listened to the Hamilton Children's Choir for over a decade to get inspiration for programming, and just know that your reach is vast. And we're so grateful for you sharing that part of your story. We have one last intro question, and we're wondering if you could speak a little bit to who has been helpful or influential in your musical journey that you might want to speak about today?
I have 2 different countries, which is inspiration for me, and also international conductors. So, of course, my children's choir conductor, I'm always grateful. My both parents not musicians, and I am grateful who I am today. And if I don't meet this lady when I was a child, who inspired me so beautifully, I might will be never find my path in my life. So it's so important to remember how much we can impact life of young people. And I try my best to give the best of myself, like to every child I meet on my way. It's magical. It's a big responsibility, and it's a big honor to touch children's lives. And I met in my life fantastic conductors, and one of them was Erkki Pulkkila, Tapiola choir from Finland, who changed my mind like about artistry and movement and freedom on stage and kids. And of course, when I came to Canada, I met amazing, iconic figure in choral music in Canada, Jean Ashworth Bartle, who was conducting at that time Toronto Children Chorus, and my English was terrible. So, but despite that, she had a courage to have me in staff as assistant, as a rehearsal assistant. I did at the beginning mostly I moved chairs and set up room, and that's what I still do. And I'm so grateful that this opportunity I had in life, because we have many immigrants with fantastic education and background who really had no chance to find their way. And that's giving a hand. And it was Nancy Telfer, fantastic composer from Canada, who I met in Mark Toderdorf. She just brought me to TCC rehearsal and introduced me to Jean Bartle. And that was magic connection. And I still, every concert when I walk on stage, I think how grateful I am. I never take for granted a minute of it.
Oh, Zimfira, that is so beautiful to hear what a small gesture maybe in someone else's life that was able to have such a huge impact on your own, and how simply opening a door for one person can change their life. And what a great reminder for all of us who are in positions where we maybe have a little bit more autonomy or power or the ability to open doors for others, to think about how we can and remind ourselves that different perspectives make the world better. And so going along with that concept, we heard about your story traveling from what was the Soviet Union, coming to Canada, moving there, speaking no English at all, getting these smaller jobs, and then becoming eventually the assistant conductor of TCC, and now then the Hamilton Children's Choir, and now the official director of TCC. And so we were wondering, Zimfira, if you could talk a little bit about how the global perspective, being in all of these different countries and all of the traveling as a clinician, as a guest conductor, how has this global perspective informed your life as a conductor and a musician?
Meeting amazing people, what a great opportunity to learn from people at their perspective of life. It's more than music. It's more than music. You can see how people in real life what they have, and in some countries you meet choirs which have no really proper building and like opportunities, but they still singing, and it is so moving and touching, and also like bringing international music to Canada. I think it's fantastic to share, because I have this opportunity to introduce some of the pieces from Europe and Asia, and working here also in Canada with fantastic composers, such a fantastic way to introduce this music abroad and share. I know that pieces by Katerina Gimon, who is graduated from Hamilton Children's Choir, sung now around the world, and it just the world is so small, and I think as closer we are all together and supporting each other in different ways, as the better world we will create as a people, like just humans and musicians. And it's so beautiful to see new ideas, finding new inspiration, also, and being adjudicator for international competitions. It's not, it's such a huge responsibility. Sometimes I just sweating with every choir who is walking on stage because I know how it feels. And I try to support in my mind every singer and every choir and conductor. So, but that's friendship for life. And I can call to Norway to my friends and say, like, we're singing this Norwegian song. Can you speak like the words and write IPA for me? And pretty much like it's possible for like the globe to connect with people and the community. It's like a family, and it's so beautiful.
And what an incredible opportunity for the singers who have moved through your various programs to have the opportunity to learn from you, not only as an expert from other parts of the world, but also to learn from your connections and to see you as a leader, opening your eyes to learning and acknowledging others as experts and, sharing that wealth of knowledge. I know that has been inspirational to so many and is a part of the reason that so many of your former students are off in the world being global composers, musicians, conductors themselves. So just know that is a big part of your journey that we see. We know that you have a deep passion for working with young voices. This is something that you talked a little bit about in the introduction. And before we started the podcast, you were talking about the vocal pedagogy class that you teach at the University of Toronto that's specifically about working with children's voices. Would you mind speaking a little bit to that class and how that came to be and why that's so important to you?
I think it is sharing information with young musicians who thinking that they will teach young people. And we speak about psychology, culture, and not just like a voice. And it's the first thing to me, it's a trust between you and the group, whatever age group you have at the front of you, building that community, people singing in the same room. It's not a choir yet until they really connect. And for me, I always say to students, what comes from your mouth, it goes to the ear, but what comes from your heart, it goes to the heart. And singing from that inner side is so important. But I found it's in North America, it's because the school time is so limited. To compare what I was experiencing, it is very tricky for young students to get this deeper knowledge on pedagogy, like how to. We so focus on gesture and the building the shape and phrase, but simple things like how to teach simple canon for young people, like what the strategies and how the vocal cords change from being great, like 7-year-old to 12, when you actually explore and what the ability of the voice and what kind of repertoire will develop the sound and what the key for the pieces, like C major for like grade 1, it just doesn't work. But a lot of music, umpa, no black keys in accompaniment. So, and then it sits right in a speaking chambers, and like you go singing "O Canada" in E flat major, that's or D major at least, make the whole difference. And F major, like it's all the time flat and the intonation. So you go just semitone up or semitone down. This kind of toolbox like which you can use for any age, and how to get the sound free and breathing techniques, how to gesture, how to teach your gesture to how much it's affect the sound, and what is voicing, how you put students like in that single line. So it's just short time for exploring this kind of ideas, I think. And I'm proud that University of Toronto have this course, which was designed by Dareen Rao. And this was my a big supporter also in Canada when I started. And when I did a couple of workshops at the University of Toronto, that's how I actually get the job at the University of Toronto when she left to US. she offered me this position, and I am so grateful because I meet so many students and they stay in touch with me, a lot of international students. So I can get email in the middle of the night, like, Zimfira, like, I'm in Singapore. You teach us like that 2-part song. Can you remind me what it was? And I will find time to respond to that email. So I keep contact with these students who was even 10 years ago. And if they open some music program or choir, they just call me and consult, like, can I have Zoom meeting? How I have to start? What the first steps to start the choir? That kind of questions so important, and it's never time at university to go through this business. Plus with singing.
That sounds like such a valuable course. I wish I had taken it with you, Zimfira. I think there's such a gap, particularly at least in the United States, between undergraduate studies and then starting your first job, whether it be a community choir, a church choir, or as a school teacher. And all of the things that you were saying are so important. And they are things that I feel I haven't even really started to touch upon until my graduate studies. And I already taught high school, and I wish I had known so many of the things I know now. And so I think going forward, the more that we can empower people to ask these questions, to be curious, to sign up for workshops with experts like you so that we can continue to gain knowledge and apply it immediately, that is just, it will make our field better. The first thing you said was trust. And you said all of the vocal pedagogy and, scaffolding and the way we teach choir is important, but it starts with trust and it starts with community building. And I think that is the thing that McKenna and I have built our careers upon, because until you have the trust of these singers, you can't make any progress. You're so right. You have to connect to the heart. And if you don't, it's just sound, and sound is not music. So I loved everything you said. McKenna is dying to jump in over there as well.
Zimfira, I know that this is sort of beyond the scope of the podcast, but do you mind? We have so many people on the podcast who are K-12 educators who are working in the schools now, who I think one of the most common questions that I get asked in like professional development settings is, can you talk about voicing a little bit with these developing singers? Would you be willing to speak about your voicing process or any support? That would be really wonderful.
Wonderful. I think you can solve so many problems, because if you ask 3 children, for example, or any age group singers to sing 3 female voices or 3 male voices together, you will hear at certain point like just 3 different voices. But if you start playing to putting them like in a different formation, okay, this person go to the middle and try again and listen, you will definitely from 4 different formations of these 3 singers finding the best sound they can produce in tune naturally. And so, for example, you can sing simple song with children, for example, just Mary Had a Little Lamb in E flat major, and ask them to sing together and then change these spots, and you can line up the sound so beautifully that it can be unified naturally in a way, and solve quite a bit of issues with intonation and how they hear each other. And I think it's fascinating thing for me. Like I'm also like exploring about choreography, but I did. We had no choreography back home much, like just for folk songs. But when I came to North America, I saw first time in my life barbershop choirs, and I was blown away like by how they artistically they are connected and to music and movement and sound. So, but I'm almost over that just choreographed pieces for choirs. I'm looking for choirography. That's new word I heard in Europe by amazing Panda, who is doing all this choreographed internationally big projects. And I like the word. Like I'm going to the point that searching for myself, like it's the movement and the voicing, how you put singers on stage. It can be so versatile for the audience For example, I'm singing a lot of pieces in a surround sound, like having children and singers in the hall surrounding the audience. And there is some specific pieces, for example, one of them, Eternity by Michael Boyson, which is written in a surround sound type, which audience will explore hearing the sound in different ways. And choreography, choirography, I think I'm exploring right now, like movements should be like affecting acoustic of the whole, not just for the sake of the movement, but back to trust. If singers don't have like full trust and confidence in each other and with their conductor, the expression will never appear on their faces. This is a big part of it, like the trust create that full being committed. And children have to, even children's choir, they have to have a voice. Like I always engage them in a process. They're part of it. I have like my leaders sending me rehearsal notes. Oh, like Zimfira, bar 36, check there. And like it's a community and they feel that they own it, their ensemble, they're part of it. This is something they've heard, they influence the order of the program. We can sometimes even discuss that with the children. So what more effective way and how they feel transition from one piece to the next, how to stage that visually on stage. But as more you engage your singers, as it's more fun.
Yes. Oh, that's so helpful and insightful, and I think such an important reminder. And I think also when we think about behavior management or helping students to become the best version of themselves in a choral setting, oftentimes if we look maybe in a backwards direction, standing still, standing on the risers, no movement, there's a tension there. That's a physical tension of the voice. Nothing's released. There's a maybe disconnect between student director. We're not really cultivating that community like you talked about. And so I think so impactful in your course to speak to the psychology, to speak to the culture, to speak to the trust, because then the possibilities are infinite. And I know we all can't wait to explore your voicing recommendation. And also, I made a note about the eternity piece so that we can link it so that our listeners can check out that beautiful surround sound that you were speaking about.
Zimfira, we have just learned so much from you already in such a short time. And I was wondering if we could go back to one thing that you said earlier when we were talking about your journey coming to Canada. And that was that you had a daughter who you said was 7 years old at the time. Is that correct?
Grade 7.
Okay, grade 7. Grade
yes.
7.
And it was very challenging, I think, because we couldn't help her. And the system is so different. When she get to high school, she has to select subjects. I never go to parent meetings, or like I go and just smile because I was not able to understand anything at the beginning. So she has to take care of herself, figured out how high school works. And she went to a microbiology U of T program, and she get her doctorate after studies. Like she stayed for doctorate, and she get the degree, and she is Dr. Poloz. And I'm very proud of her because she get independent at so early age, and it was challenge. And I think she just, she had no choice. Like she has to find how it works.
Well, she had an incredible role model, which was you, who made a brave choice to leave and to come to a different country and start over. And so we were wondering if you could talk a little bit about balancing being a mother and navigating that as a choral conductor, talking a little bit about work-life balance. McKenna just had a baby in May, and this is something that we ask a lot of our guests because we know how challenging it is. And so can you speak a little bit about trying to find work-life balance as a mother and a musician?
It is challenging. Like when we commit, I found this is not in this field. People who is in this field, it's not for the money. It's it is such a different version of living. And to find the balance, that's something every conductor, I think, has to work and have a plan. Because if you don't take care of yourself, which is, I also have challenged to do that, to say the truth, like, because the passion, you can control how much you invest. You just like, it's your life. So when people asking me, what is your job? I can call it its job. It's not my job. It's not my passion. It's my life. And to find a space for your family is important, because when you have everything good at home and supported uh, with your husband, with your family, that it's also you building community, that people understand the culture where you are in. And you're not just like, it's not a regular job. It is beyond that. And if you're artist, this is this really different life. And I wish every musician and every conductor, like, we have to learn how to look after ourselves and after our health, because if it's at home, you have challenging family situations or your health problems, then everything collapses on its own. So just, I wish everybody in this pre-holiday season, remember that, and reminding myself. And I have two grandchildren. One is 5 and one is 10. And they all understand what I'm doing. They come to the concerts and they know how I'm busy on weekends. They know what it takes, the whole family part of it. And I'm so lucky to have a husband who support me so much. And he understands when I came from maybe not successful rehearsal, sometimes just like, oh, and yeah, it's a circle of your life.
And now, a quick word from our sponsors.
Conductor, 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 conductor.
The Conductor Choral Series, powered by Music Spoke, is an intentional platform that highlights the voices of women and their allies in the choral music world. This series is designed to elevate and celebrate the contributions of women throughout history, as well as those currently shaping the music scene. Its name, Conductor, intertwines the role of a conductor with the concept of empowerment and the recognition of women in music, a field where their contributions have often been overlooked or underrepresented.
The series serves as a celebration of diverse women's voices, composers, conductors, singers, and advocates, by providing access to choral works that reflect their unique perspectives, creativity, and experiences. Through this collection, Music Spoke gives both emerging and established composers the opportunity to share their voices with the choral community, providing a sense of inclusivity, visibility, and accessibility to repertoire. Check out the Conduct Her Choral Series today for your next concert.
And we're back. Well, it's really beautiful, Zimfira. You just speak with such positivity. I can tell that just by being in your aura, you speak with conviction. You speak with like a forward momentum that is just infectious. And I know that all people who enter your space are impacted by that welcoming, the welcoming aura that you have, which is partnered with this amazing skill set. So it's just really powerful to hear you speak and to think about the cultivating of community. I loved how you said that both at work and at home, but also you've demonstrated the through line. You know, your family understands. They know that this is who you are. And so developing space where everybody can be a part of that, where your 5 and 10-year-old grandchildren can come and be clapping and supporting in the front row, or maybe even singing in the children's choir, who knows? But that's a really wonderful way to speak, I think, about the challenges, because there is no work-life balance, really. You know, what is that? But to make sure that the community is strong in both realms, I think that's something I will just keep at the forefront of my mind as we move through the rest of December and into the new semester. Just thinking about your journey, Zimfira, is So powerful. You've seen so many things. You've been so influential in so many spaces. Thinking back to the choir school #1, all the way back in 1983 to now, where you have a big performance coming up with Toronto Children's Chorus this weekend. And we were wondering if you could speak a little bit about how you've seen the choral landscape shift and change from your beginning points in their career to now. What have you seen change?
I think there is a lot of new contemporary music influencing choirs. People finding new ways also engaged, like different art forms in choral art. I will say, like I am really curious about this and exploring. Like we did with Hamilton Children's Choir, like some light design concerts. And how the light and movement can influence the overall performance. It's also important to sing art music in because that's really what developed the sound and it engaging the audience in a concert. So, for example, there is fantastic project which I was part of with a choir. It's called Songbridge in Finland, or organized by Erkki Pohjola. And there is usually they invite 3 choirs from 3 different countries, accomplished children's choirs, and they have to commission a piece in their country, 10-minute long, a cappella, 10 minutes long piece, a cappella, 3 pieces, and we have to bring also some solo performance program. So we gathered together, we spent a week together, and in each country, a commissioned piece, there will be a space for all choirs sing together at certain moment. That should be part of composition. And also, there is a moment when the audience has to be part of the piece. So, and this is a fantastic project. Like, seeing all this amazing initiative and fantastic ideas, you start brainstorming about different ways, and I think it's also like the freedom of the sound. You're right, like not necessarily even percolesi or you will sing any art music if you do just like hand movements and gestures like in a rehearsal, not necessarily for the stage, but to free up children, like free up their sound and just take their attention just from this part of the instrument. Sometimes like you make a skip to high note, how to help with the motion of the body, or what kind of movement of the hand or the body will help to make that larynx not jumping up. And all choreography, like when it's hard to find a specialist who really understand, like if any skip to high note and the hands go up, it's not helpful. So it's opposite kind of feeling, and it's fantastic ideas. Like it's endless brainstorming, creativity possibilities, and you can find such a fantastic music, like singing with other tones, singing music. Like for example, we're working right now on Sunday at Roy Thompson Hall. We'll be performing Stars with wine glasses, tuned glasses, and the second piece by a fantastic composer from Latvia, Laura Jakobsone, and we're singing her piece Father Thunder, which will incorporate movement, very small movement, but very effective, which is suits for the rhythm of the song and also the change of the sound direction. And it's a cappella pieces, like teach kids what the partials, like what the overtones of the, you're singing one pitch and you can hear a fifth up, like imagining that fifth and octave, and introducing pieces with overtones open their eyes, like, oh, there is not just like a prime tone, there's like extra things which make the sound so powerful. So it's such a fantastic journey. I'm enjoying every second of it, and kids, music, and singers around the world. What a great opportunity.
Mm. For our listeners out there, Zimfira just lights up in a way when you talk about music that I think is really unique and rare. I feel like we can see in your eyes you visualizing these experiences that you've had and recalling these really specific memories that is so powerful, and I want to emulate that in my own life. And I think there's been a through line, McKenna, I think you probably agree with all of our Canadian choral conductors of mentioning not only other conductors and ensembles that they respect or value, but noting specific regions around the world where they have been. That I think in the United States, we tend to look inward and we tend to look, oh, I really like this this ensemble from this other state. And I think the more that we can try to encapsulate a global mindset and think our singers should be able to sing exactly like you said, Pergolesi, and also overtones. They should be able to sing Katerina Gimmon songs and, Mozart, and be able to do all of this. And that's something that we as choral leaders have a responsibility to impart upon our singers. And for a long time, I think there's been a divide between voice teachers and choral pedagogues. And I think the more that we can put the foundational elements that you've spoken so highly about, like how do you listen? How do you approach your singing when you have a tessitura change, when you have a registration shift? These are things that I can see you thinking about, Zimfira, and that when you talk about in connection to choral music, it just makes so much sense. So I really value what you've been saying, and just want to highlight that we can see your passion. And even when you speak just now on this podcast, it's really evident how much you care about your students and about highlighting the experiences that you've had and bringing them to your class each day. We were wondering, you spoke briefly about a couple of people that were very influential to you early on. And you mentioned Doreen Rao helping you get this vocal pedagogy course into your life. And we were wondering if you could talk about your personal experience with mentorship and how you and all of us can continue to be better mentors to our students and to our colleagues as we continue on in our journeys in this field.
This is my very favorite part. And I think sharing your ideas and helping young people to start their careers, also students, it's wonderful because you can see impact and how it's changed their life. And I have, for example, in Hamilton Children's Choir, assistant who was 14 years with me. And we get through this journey, and everything I know, I will share. Every step of it, how to get sounds, how to set up choir.
I think that the mentorship aspect is why so many people continue, like you said, come back time and time again. And you talked a little bit about some of your alumni of the Hamilton Children's Choir and the way that they have entered the world. And it's really neat to hear you speak about mentorship and to see the mentorship that they are also providing based off of their experience, I think, with you. So it's really pretty incredible. It becomes a web of really devoted and caring human beings that continue to reach out and lift a hand and to help others up as they go. And that's just so special.
And I have Elise Nakarato. She's organized a female choir, which is about 70 ladies in her choir. And she's fantastic, like what she's doing with these ladies. She has also promoting all Katerina Gimmon music. They're all three alumni from the Hamilton Children's Choir, and they have a poet, Laura Pin, who is also alumni. So they're creating a lot of music together and experimenting with the choir sound. It's an ensemble called Myriad. And I'm very proud of all these young people who is really exploring, brave, and have courage. And I think it comes a lot from the connection what we have together and create together in being in a children's choir. So they all grown up together. They're friends for life. They're supporting each other and going further. As a teacher, I think for me it's great to see that students who I touched lives go farther than I will go, and I'm here to support them all their journey and in any different ways. We have a lot of professional singers, composers, and not necessarily that they go to music field.
And now, a quick word from our sponsors.
Conductor, 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 conductor.
Hey, Kyra.
Hey, McKenna.
You know what choral directors are always looking for?
What?
Well, as choral directors, we are always looking for new pieces to program for our upcoming concerts, and Pavan Publishing is proud to have some outstanding women composers and conductors in its catalog.
Wow, what are some of the new releases?
Well, let me tell you. Canto e Liberta by Diana Saez and Suzette Ortiz for treble voices, piano, and percussion. It was premiered under the direction of Dr. Iris Levine from Conductor Season 1 and is in her Pavan Treble Choral series.
Ukrainian composer Irina Alexichuk's Holy Lord of Hosts is stunning and was premiered in the U.S. by Grant Gershon and the LA Master Chorale. Grant has launched his new series with Pavan in support of this remarkable composer.
Zenaida Robles, one of the most sought-after female writers, will have her latest composition, The Summit is Nigh, premiered at the ACDA National Convention in Dallas this March. Again, a Conductor Season 2 interviewee.
Janaea Robison, conductor of the Lutheran National Choir, has two new offerings: an SATB voicing of her successful setting of I Wonder as I Wander, and new editions of Bach's cantata BWV 118, with alternative lyrics that enables performances from Advent and Christmas to Palm Sunday and Easter. Check out Pavan Publishing today at pavanpublishing.com.
And we're back.
Fantastic human. Like it's, I think it's so beautiful to see. It's a beautiful people. They help each other. They will support. They will give you a hand, and that's more than music.
Well, I just want to add that that is a testament to you, Zimfira. And when we interviewed Kat Gimmon on our podcast, she said that you were one of the most influential people in her musical life at the beginning of the podcast. So not only is it a testament to their experience within the children's choir and singing together, but it's an affirmation for you and all of the work that you've done because you have touched their lives.
Thank you.
We have one closing question in the main interview part, and then we're going to jump into our fast five. But this is a question, again, a lot of listeners will write in and say, I'm experiencing this, either this issue at work or I'm experiencing a tough situation in a community organization. What advice do you have? And so our question for you, is there a time where maybe you faced discrimination or a major challenge? And what advice would you have for other people who are going through something like this right now?
I think it is a great question, and we all have these moments in one way or different way. And I think the best thing for me, like always, it worked to speak about it, and don't go keep in your heart and create some negative story in your mind. I think it is always good to go to the person and have a heart-to-heart chat, invite the person for coffee and say, like, I feel this and happening and the situation, how I can support, like how we can make this work. What is your advice? And just be open and not going to inside of the box. And I think it's the most helpful way. And sometimes you, even with singers, like sometimes if they sing something and they don't speak with you, they connect this, like create a story in their mind. And I always advise to my singers, please, like if anything like you feel, can you connect to me? Like just let's talk.
I always tell my students at the beginning of the semester, if I find out about an issue that they're having in the course evaluations, then I have not done my job, because there hasn't been enough space for them to come to talk, to, like you're saying. So my hope is to encourage, like you just said, the open communication. Know that it's a safe place to come and talk. And if we can't have that connection, it can breed continual issues, like you were talking about, that negative space that is so easy to fall into. And I think you have modeled, Zimfira, today just a really exceptional outlook in this department. And I think that our listeners will benefit from hearing your voice in their head to just say, speak about it, speak it out loud, and open up so that you don't have to carry this alone. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I think it is also like just to meet with people and listen. I will not, if you have a problem, I will not speak about it. Like just ask and just listen first. And also don't go right away. Like sometimes we are so emotional as musicians. Don't write email like the same minute, because when you will read it in the morning, and it's happened to all of us. So, and you think, oh, like maybe I wish I say a different way. And yeah, it's communication and being brave. It's actually being brave. Like I found with young people, it's very difficult. And that's what I teach them in a choir. Like be open, like share your thoughts, speak about problems, and have like that courage to step in and actually ask why this happened, or like you feel that way. And I think we are, as educators, have to share that with young people when they're in singing in your children's choir, that they have this courage. And again, it's a trust. If they don't have that trust, they can't really be open and talk. It's not just music.
What a great reminder for all of us. Yes, I want to just shout the email thing into the heavens. Wait 24 hours at least before you respond. And what a great reminder to walk the walk for all of us and to model these things for our singers. And that's sometimes the most powerful way that we can show them, I am an active listener and I hear you and I'm giving you space, and we hope that you'll do this for the rest of the world. So thank you, Zimfira, for sharing all of that. And now, a quick word from our sponsors.
Conductor, 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 conductor.
Hey everyone, come check out the newest collaborations with Conductor and Call Time Clothing. Shop the newest designs from your favorite female conductor-owned clothing line, inspired by choir music education, made to order just for you. Get one of your own for $35 Canadian, or about $26 American, plus a flat rate shipping fee. Visit calltimeclothing.com today. Do you live near other conductors and want to save on shipping? Order multiple tees in one order so that you only pay one shipping fee. Visit calltimeclothing.com today or follow us on Instagram.
And we're back.
We are in our final questions for you, which we call our Fast Five. They may be fast, they may be slow, but know that there's no wrong answers. So please just say the first thing that comes to your mind. Our first question for you is, what is your favorite current choral octavo or composer recommendation?
I'm working right now a lot with Tracy Wong. And we created a lot of projects together. She was a student at the University of Toronto, and she was came to U of T to get her degree. That's how we met, and she worked a lot with my choirs.
She is amazing. And she also spoke about you. We are also airing her episode in season 4 along with yours. So we're excited, excited that you will meet in that capacity again. Beautiful. The second question, what is something that maybe people assume or think about you that is not true?
I will say, like, people probably think, and maybe I look confident, but yes, at young age, I had even hard time to make public speech.
Oh.
And it was journey for me to learn how to be more confident.
Well, your confidence radiates from you now, Zimfira. So know that we too would have assumed that you were confident and that it is shining through right now. What is one word to describe you as a conductor?
Passionate.
This one is silly. Can you share a time where you maybe had a choral blooper or something didn't go as anticipated in a choral situation? So there was some sort of silly mistake.
I will make a joke and just laugh together with the kids. I also will apologize always if I did something wrong myself or like have a wrong cue or anything. And I will just say like, yeah, make a joke and bring myself on podium that everybody aware actually that it's happened.
I love that. That is so important too. So good reminders for all of us too. We are human, and it's good that they know we're human.
And our final question for you is, would you share a favorite choral memory? We know there are many, but just choose a favorite one that you would like our listeners to hear.
I think like moment when kids are the most insecure children, when they go over this journey and found their voice, that's changed my life. And it's also motivate me so much to what I do. Like looking into a child's eyes when he or she is singing, the openness, enthusiasm, trust, expression, truly breathtaking, and will offer moments you will never forget. I really think like we have to remember and learn from our children, and it is important not to forget to see the world through our children's eyes.
Whew, that was beautiful, Zimfira. We wrote down a lot of quotes from you today. You've just spoken so beautifully. We started the episode and Zimfira was like, my English is not great. And I feel like you've just delivered us a million quotes that we could put on an inspirational poster from around the world. So please know that everything you've said today has been so beautiful and honest and touching. And we just appreciate you and your words and the impact that you've had on this field.
Thank you so much. I think it is so important to be open, and that's part of I will say success working with kids. When they see that they trust you and they're brave children who can even look in your eyes, like have eye contact simply. After a few years, they do public speech at your concert. That's really moving.
You had this through line all morning about people and the people that we work with. So whether they turn out to be professional musicians or they turn out to just go into the world and make their mark as brave and good people working to support and uplift others, I just can't reiterate that point enough, especially as we go into this next busy season and hopefully people are able to celebrate with loved ones and be together. And it's been a long time coming for us to reach out to interview you. Everyone who we've talked to seems to have a really wonderful connection with you. And so just, we are so grateful for your time and for your influence in this scope and for taking some minutes to speak with us and our listeners today. And we're just so thankful. So if you are a Conductor fan, please tune in and check out more of our things we have available for you. You can check us out at conductor.com or on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We hope that you take a listen to more episodes, and thank you so much.
Thank you for listening. This has been Conductor. This episode was engineered and mixed by Mary Hannah Klontz with intro and outro music by Chloe Garut and ad music by Kate Krellin.
Discover more resources at conductor.com.